and their mothers are going live right now. But hey, we got to talk about a little bit of history. And since this show has been a chronicle of my viewing of the world for nearly 20 years, or at least a version of it, I have to come on over here and do this. Just like the night that we found out that Jeffrey Epstein was no longer with us. Had to come on the air and do a little bit of something or other. So here we are because there was an assassination attempt. Something that we've been, very cautiously speculating about, involving Donald Trump. And listen, it's a very, very sensitive situation, and there's a lot of things yet to be learned, a lot of things that we all saw together. And then I'm just going to open up the lines. I'm just going to pull up some things that we have read, some audio and some video, and we're going to just take your calls and see what the hell you guys all think. Because when I was getting back home from a party, a graduation party, and that's when my phone started getting lit up by people. Jay Gulinello, my mother, a few other people. Yo, Trump got shot. What? Then I saw one clip as we're in the car and it's cooling down, and I see him go for his ear goes down, and then we start getting all the dirty details about people who are dead, shooters who are dead, the location of the shooters. Very interesting things. I'm open for all theories here tonight. Some I don't. I can't help myself but think at least inside job. What the hell? Anyway, we're going to get around to all this stuff. In fact, I left all my notes at home. You want to know what happened? I was set up to do a 9 o'clock broadcast at home. And then I went to start OBS up and nothing popped up because I did an update. And, of course, the update just locked me out altogether. So what did I do? I had to run out the door and come to the studio all alone, what I did not want to do. But here we are, and I just figured that we all talk about this together. I have the lines open. It's 914-200-0269. And I guess what's the first thing up? Here's the first thing up. This is 2 minutes of the whole thing going down with Trump, and then the scrambling, and then him getting up defiantly with blood coursing down his cheek. Looks like that it went, I don't know if it went cheek to ear, definitely ear. I don't know if the cheek is just blood coming from the ear. I don't know. There's an official statement from Donald Trump. There's a whole bunch of other stuff going on. And, right off the bat, there's just a few things you can't get around. That the left, especially the spellcasters over there in the media, they own all of it. Own all of it. All of it. This is nonstop panic broadcasts. This is nonstop. Even George Latimer, 54 seconds ago. Shut. He says, today's events in Pittsburgh are horrific. Shut the fuck up, George. There you go. There you go. Good for you. Anyway, this is, you have to imagine right now, there should be no surprise whatsoever that every vile, catastrophizing Bolshevik who spends their days harassing people and inundating them with Hitler comparisons and Hitler reactions and hysterics and all that, they are going to present a very dignified, reasoned, unified front of concern for the person that they've been trying to kill for years now. Say, how's that so? Well, because they have a lot to lose. People who are running for office, people who are in the news networks, people who are in Silicon Valley, Hollywood, they've got a lot to lose. They've got their houses, they've got their careers, they've got their friends, their black tie parties, their access, they got the culture that they want to hold on to, all that stuff. They got the blackmail. A lot of them are just compelled to do what they got to do. But for the other people down there, whereas they can be the big, yappy bullshitters, there's a lot of people out there who have a lot less to lose. A lot less to lose. Now, it also could be just something that has, I don't know how highly skilled they are. I dismiss out of hand everybody who comes and says this entire thing was just staged because an assassin doesn't miss. If that is your proof, then don't even call in with it, because then you obviously don't know too much about the JFK assassination, the shooting gallery that he drove through in Dealey, down there in Dealey, because a lot of them missed. A lot of those shots missed. There's about 7 snipers down there, Cuban, American, a lot of people, and they were missing a whole bunch of shit. So either way, Trump gets grazed, 2 people get killed. Let me see. I had so much stuff. All my notes are home because I ran out of the house in a frenzy to get over here so that the broadcast wasn't delayed too much. Let's take a look. Listen to this. Hold on a second. Get that out of the way. We'll just watch some of this stuff. Oh, wait, hold on a second. That's not it. This is it.
What happened to our country? Probably 20 million people. And you know, that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old. And if you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
There's a shot. Went right to his ear. Now, here's the thing. As they're working on it, there was a body that was dragged out of the stands. There was a body that was dragged out of the stands early on, and people were saying they got the shooter. And off the bat, I said, they got the shooter. The shooter was up there in the stands with everybody. How the hell did the gun get in? So that was odd. We come to realize that was somebody killed in the crossfire. It was actually just an attendee. That made a lot more sense. But the shooter was the position of the shooter was zeroed in on a rooftop with perfect vantage point of the stage, not too far away. I know you might have seen it. There's images of the shooter shot dead on top of that roof. But I'm thinking to myself, who the fuck? How the hell was that roof not accounted for? How was that unattended? How was that left unattended? That's just basic. That's just basic. Yeah, I don't know all of the ins and outs and all the methods and of the Secret Service to keep a place secure, but what the hell? Rooftops, vantage points, trajectories. You have to. I mean, what the hell are you talking about? That's just number one. There was a lot of early reporting about 2 shooters. I wonder if that's going to be repeated at all. I'm trying to find a whole bunch more clips. Obviously, on Monday night, this is not going to go away. We're going to have more information. There's going to be more things to talk about. But I want to take your calls. Oh, you know what? Here, we'll watch a little bit more of this in a second. Let's take a call. Frank Zell's just calling in. Frank, what the hell do you think?
I mean, when you bring up the rooftop, it's, you know, with the vantage point that the rooftop had, all eyes should have been on it. I mean, did you saw the BBC video, right?
I've got BBC. I've got it over here. I've got it.
It's about 4 minutes long. Everybody there should be fired immediately. Trump should never. He should just hire like a Blackwater type outfit and do private security the rest of the way. They were pointing the shooter out for 3 minutes to the Secret Service and the state police. He says they're looking at him, the shooter, with their binoculars. They see him as he's crawling on the roof. When you pull out a weapon at a presidential, they're not going to wait to subdue you. They shoot you. That's how it works. But for whatever reason, they did not fire until he got 5 shots off, and then they killed him. You know what that's the equivalent of? That's like a rancher closing the barn door after the horses book. You failed. You failed. And for whatever reason, the shooter was pointed out, and he didn't act for at least 3 minutes. Watch that video. I couldn't. When I saw that, I was like, "Oh, here we go." First-hand account. The guy's like, and he's like, "I don't know why." He goes, "I don't know why Trump was still speaking. We were pointing, they were looking, they saw him, and they didn't do nothing."
It's one thing to say we couldn't respond, we couldn't get him physically in time. It's another thing when it is when something like that is reported, and you can actually lay eyes on a person, and you can easily just radio in and say, "Shut it all down, get everybody out of the area."
Yeah,
I mean, that's
it should have happened instantly.
Instantly,
they should have been then firing at him before he. So he's crawling on the roof. I mean, it was a whole thing where these people saw this guy. They're in the crowd and they see this guy climbing onto the roof. They point at him. They see the rifle. They say it's clear as day. He's carrying a rifle. They point. They get their attention. They look over with the binoculars. The guy's crawling on the roof. Then he has to get into position to fire. I'm sure you have to steady your nerves. Anybody that's fired for distance, you don't just run up and start shooting. You got to take aim and fire. And he didn't do anything. So there should be resignations tomorrow from the Secret Service. Whoever was in charge of it should be fired. The agents there should be fired. They failed. They absolutely failed.
Let me ask you. So
five shots off.
Do you think it is just because something like this, as big as it is, as everybody's been waiting for something like this, because there's only so. Here's the thing: there's only so much that you can do to escalate rhetoric. There's only so much you can do to escalate the severity of the situation. What would happen if Donald Trump becomes president again? The end of democracy, the end of one group of people or another. I mean, there's only so much you can do to escalate that before people really, there's somebody out there. Who knows if this is a loner or this is just somebody who has been given a very, very, very important mission from on high. And there's a lot of coordination going on here. And that's the real question. It is absolutely believable that some loner with nothing to lose wants to get his name written into the footmark of the footprint of a history book somewhere. But is there anything in your mind that's making you think, how inside of a job was this? Or was it really just Secret Service screwed the pooch on something so basic as covering nearby rooftops?
That's the thing. You don't screw the pooch on this. It's not like, hey, there's a shooter, and everybody's like, oh, where is he? Oh, we gotta see him. All eyes would be on that building. That's how they're trained. The snipers on the barn, they're looking at any vantage point that's looking at that stage. That's their job. That's what they're not just watching Trump speak. Their job is just to look for a threat. And to see that witness being interviewed by the BBC, and he's like, "Oh yeah, we were pointing them out to the state police too. Nobody took any action.
Yeah,
until he got 5 shots off. So whatever, fire everybody. Somebody needs to take because you failed because the president was hit. It's a centimeter to the left, and we're talking like watching a movie 20 years from now, and we're going, and I'll look at Trump's head. It went back and to the right. That's how close he came to seeing President Trump's brain splattered on a stage.
It was that close. I know there's a lot of people out there that are wondering to what degree was this coordinated? Is it all a show? Is it all bullshit? I mean, listen, you can't fake this.
Now,
this
you
thing.
Can see it when he stood up. He was that was clear shock he was in, man. He lost all his color drained from his face. He was pale.
So yeah. The real question is what was the intent was to murder him. There's no doubt about it. To me,
I want to see who the shooter. Well, first off, you got to wait to see who the shooter is, because the intriguing thing is this guy got off a headshot at distance under extreme pressure, knowing he'd most likely be killed after he took the shot. So steady nerves, and he got off a headshot at distance. So who is this guy? This isn't some Antifa guy living in his mom's basement.
The first person they said. That's the first person they pulled up. They said it was just some pudgy Antifa guy. I don't know if that was that was the first thing that was starting to circulate around. It didn't look like the frame of the person, whatever the part of the body we were able to see that's lying there on top of the rooftop dead. So yeah, it's really just like the fog of information war right now. It's going to probably take weeks to see which initial reports were credible and what was just nonsense. And we're just in the thick of the whirlwind.
Yeah, it's. I mean, we've joked about this for years with Trump about them assassinating him. So that's not the shock of it. To me, I was watching it live when it happened. At first, I thought it was like fireworks. I thought somebody had lit fireworks. And I saw him like go down, and then when he stood up, and they had their guns out. I'm like, wait a second, was that like a small? But I didn't know where it came from. So it sounded like small caliber. But then you get different vantage points. Yeah, I mean,
well,
we joke about it. It's finally happened. You know, it's hysterical listening to people on the left. You know, now they want to pray. You led your base here. You know, Tucker Carlson said it like last week. He goes, assassination is the next step. I think he said that 10 days ago.
He's not being a prophet there. Anybody who's been chit chatting with people in comment sections on the internet that actually has some common sense in analyzing the I don't know, the path of all the conversations, where all the conversations are going, the way that newscasters present every day. It's getting there. The hysterics are. We already had the Steve Scalise situation. We already had this stuff happen before. They roll over. Of course, This is the highest profile that we've had in a long time. But damn, man, I
never thought I would see it again in my lifetime. I was a kid when Reagan got shot, but you don't think you'd ever see something like that again. A president, and it came that close to killing him on stage. So yeah, it's just brutal, man. The Secret Service to me totally failed.
Well,
I would never trust them again. If I was President Trump, I would fire them. I'd fire or just get rid of them. I don't want you, and I'd hire my own staff.
That would be the only.
He
has to do it. He has to do it at this point. Thanks for the call, Frank. If anything else happens within the time that I'm on, don't feel any one way about calling in again. Okay.
All right. If I hear anything of note, I'll call you back.
Thanks for kicking this off.
All right, Frank. Have a good one, brother.
All right, later. Let's take one more call, and then we'll just go through some other information I have over here. Andrew, what's going on, Andrew?
What's happening, Frank?
Hey.
I was calling to see, does this stop all the rallies? Like, is this an excuse for Biden not to do a rally now?
Well, I don't think that this is going to stop Trump rallies. I don't think it's going to stop that at all. I think that the first thing that's going to happen is there's going to be a very serious reevaluation of security, and I think it would be the best move ever to say thanks but no thanks, Secret Service, or if you want to have a couple of guys hover around me, that's fine, but my people are going to be picking up perimeter and other tasks. I haven't listened to the Dan Bongino show in probably 3 years at this point, but I would be interested to see what he's going to say on his episode on Monday, just because he works Secret Service, and he'd probably be able to talk about methods that were and protocols that were breached in ridiculous ways. But who knows if this is something that why would Biden use this? Maybe it was an excuse, but it's not like a virus. This was very politically slanted, something that
but so Biden won't have to go in front of a crowd, you know what I mean, so he can just do everything scripted, or just move all the rallies indoors so people just can't be on top of buildings with a rifle. That
would be, and thank you for the call, that would be believable if there was somebody that wanted to go after Joe Biden, but Joe Biden's body is assassinating itself right now. The fact that Donald Trump got shot in the head and still walked off the stage afterwards looking better physically than Joe Biden. is all you need to know about that. So I don't know how he would use it as an excuse to dial back his meager public appearances, but hey, that's up to him. This is all. The attention is only going one way, and they would be really stupid to try to throw a saddle on this and ride it out for themselves. That's not going to fucking work. Let's see here. Eladu on Rumble says, thanks for coming on. I'm always at work and can never watch live. I love your show. Well, thanks for being here. And I wish it was just a quiet night at home. But, you know, when this happened, Lauren I said, I got to do it. She goes, oh, I know. I just wish I was home right now. That would have been a lot easier because then I take some calls, we get off, and then I'm home. But this is history. Another terrible chapter in it. Let's see. 925 Wild G says scorched earth. Yeah. Well, you would hope. You would hope scorched earth. There's nothing about this. As I look at this, 2 dead, including the shooter. At a Pennsylvania rally, the DA says President Trump grazed, fortunate to be alive. Law enforcement believes it was a serious attempt on the life of former President Trump, says NBC News. Biden was given initial briefing. He called the ordeal sick or whatever. I have that over here. We can watch in a little bit. But they all own it. Every last Hitler comparison, the Save Our Democracy freaks, they all own it with the hysterics. They prayed that someone with less to lose than them would do the deed. So it shouldn't be surprising. Okay? The continuity of government, speculators. It's just brick by brick. Brick by brick. We're dealing with vermin, you know? There's vermin holding the strings. And then there's washed out vermin that are programmed for self-destruction. That's just really what it is. We're talking about people. Whether it's those who take the base programming and go and act on it as patsies and proxies of the state and those who control the state, whatever the hell it is, you're talking about people who can't be reasoned with because they are either driven and focused and evil enough to want to program people to act this way or to give the order, or you're somebody who has completely been hollowed out, an empty vessel to take in that messaging and have it be expressed physically within you. Those are people, those are animals that cannot be reasoned with. They can only ever be rooted out. Now, what scorched earth looks like, I don't know, but I'm sure Donald Trump is thinking about it right now, aside from counting his blessings. This is why I say praying for strength. That's really it. For us, it's always been about taking account of our personal lives, reading the tea leaves responsibly, knowing where this is all going, knowing that we're going to have to walk over the coals here. We're going to have to walk barefoot over the coals, and all we can do really is pray for the strength to walk the path that's been laid for us now. It's going to be bumpy. This, I would have to imagine, is a bump. Pretty huge bump. But yeah, and again, I know that the internet, it's got a lot of people who are inclined to formulate novel theories, and I like listening to a lot of them. But anyone who claims that assassins don't miss, professionals don't miss, perhaps they don't miss a lot. But, I mean, he hit his head. There are 2 other people that are dead. And again, like I said, professionals were brought in to kill JFK. They had about 6 or 7 sharpshooters that were set up all along the plaza over there. And it wasn't until the end that they were able to get a couple into his throat and to his head. So there was plenty of shots missed that day in 1963. So it's just, I understand. You don't want to believe anything these days, but sometimes you just got to chill and watch and my, oh my. Man shot in the head, killed instantly at Trump rally. Joseph, who was just yards away, described what happened. I heard several gunshots, he said. Take a listen to this.
So if you weren't listening to the program here, but Lester Holt, NBC News, just reporting that one of the attendees has deceased, has died from injuries as a result of the shooting. Joseph, you told me off camera that you may have witnessed this, and I'm so sorry to be talking to you in this tragic moment, but can you describe what it is that you saw?
I was attending the rally. I was in the set of bleachers the very far left of the podium where President Trump was speaking. I was there with friends. I heard several gunshots. The man beside me suffered a gunshot wound to the head, was instantly killed, fell to the bottom of the bleachers. Another woman looked like she got hit in the forearm or hand. And then at that point in time, it was rather chaotic at that point because half the people were looking because they thought it was fireworks. I knew it was gunshots right away. My friend, he hit the deck. I was kind of looking around just trying to see where the shots were coming from. It seemed to me like the shots were coming from behind the bleachers. It seemed to me the man got hit in the head from behind. He was killed instantly as far as I could tell. And at that point, a state police and a SWAT team, started evacuating the bleachers, and then I helped carry the man out of the bleachers to a tent that was behind the bleachers.
You helped carry the man yourself. What was his condition when you were carrying him?
He's deceased. He died.
How close were you to him?
A couple yards.
There's pictures of the shooter up dead, up into his dead face. I don't know who released that. I don't know how the hell even got it out there. That's an official picture being really. I mean, it's just it's just a lot of stuff that you never thought that you would actually see. This all going on. Here's another one. This is from the BBC. Now, Frank Zell and others said that it was like 4 minutes long. Oh, here's the 4 minutes. Take a listen to this.
You weren't inside the event,
nope,
but you were just outside. Tell us what you saw.
So we had a party here all day. You can see behind us at the Brinkles Farming Greenhouse here. We had a party, and we all decided, hey, when we hear Trump up there, we're going to walk up through the field, stand by the trees up there under the shade, and and listen to the rally. Right? We couldn't see him, but we could hear him. So we walked up, and probably 5 to 7 minutes of Trump speaking. I'm estimating here. I have no idea, but we noticed a guy crawling, bear crawling up the roof of the building beside us, 50 feet away from us. So we're standing there, and we're pointing at the guy crawling up the roof.
And he had a gun, right?
He had a rifle. We could clearly see him with a rifle. Absolutely. We're pointing at him. The police are down there running around on the ground. We're like, hey man, there's a guy on the roof with a rifle. And the police were like, huh, what? Like they didn't know what was going on. We're like, hey, right here on the roof. We can see him from right here. We see him. He's crawling. And next thing you know, I'm thinking to myself, why is Trump still speaking? Why have they not pulled him off the stage? I'm standing there pointing at him for, 2 or 3 minutes. Secret Service is looking at us from the top of the barn. I'm pointing at that roof, just standing there like this. And next thing you know, 5 shots rang out.
So you're certain that the shots came from that guy on the roof?
100%. 100%.
And he was up there for a couple of minutes.
He was up there.
You saw him up there for a couple of minutes.
Absolutely. At least 3 to 4 minutes.
And you were telling the police and the Secret Service?
We were telling the police. We were pointing at them for the Secret Service, who were looking at us from the top of the barn. They were looking at us the whole time when we were standing by that tree.
Could they see
binoculars?
Could they see him?
Probably not, because the roof, the way the slope went, he was behind where they could see. But why is there not Secret Service on all of these roofs here? This is not a big place.
Did you see, obviously everyone, when the shooting started, everyone was very panicked. Did you see what happened to him at all?
Oh yeah, they blew his head off.
Okay, sorry.
Secret Service blew his head off.
Okay, just be careful because we don't quite know who's watching, but you're pretty sure they shot the guy?
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay.
Yep.
You saw that happen?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And did you see them go up to him afterwards, or?
They crawled up on the roof. They had their guns pointed at him, make sure he was dead. He was dead. And that was.
You know how close we were? The fact that there are 2 dead. Forget about the animal. But the people, that is horrible. That's horrible. Being in the stands there, having a good time, and all of a sudden the lights are out. Or being the person next to the person whose lights just went out, and suddenly you're carrying them out. This is horrible. And then on top of it, to know that we were so close this was going to be broadcast live all over the place. And this is fucking insane. No matter how much we've talked about it. I mean, Frank Zell said, we make jokes that they weren't really jokes. It's almost like if it's laughter, it's nervous laughter that you know what's coming, right? You know where they're going with this. There's only one way to escalate further. No matter how much we've talked about it and speculated, the fact that it arrived today and there was a knock on that door, and it's still like we're in a surreal Twilight Zone land.
That was it. It was over.
It's incredibly shocking.
The guy was on the roof right there. You can see the white roof right there.
Did you get a look at him? Could you?
No, other than he was in muted colors, tan type clothing. We saw the rifle flinging around as he was trying to crawl. I mean, we saw the rifle, 100%.
Do you know about guns? Do you know what kind of weapon it was?
Oh, I absolutely know about guns, for sure. No, I mean, it was a rifle of some sort. I wouldn't know, I wasn't close enough to read the label on it, but it was a rifle of some sort. Yeah, absolutely.
So how do you process what you've just seen?
I don't know what to say, man. All I'll tell you is, if I walked up close to there with anything that Secret Service considered a problem, I wouldn't be standing here talking to you right now. But I don't know why a guy who we're standing there pointing out to police and Secret Service is crawling up the roof.
And nobody's listening to anything. Much like on January 6th. Plenty of people saying call in for backup, and then everybody, the goons with their shields just sat there. Why aren't you doing anything? You remember those? You remember those guys? Here's another country heard from Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. There's no place for political violence, including... Shut the fuck up, bird brain. Shut the fuck up. You're part of it. You're part of this. This is what Bolshevism is. Bolshevism is political violence. Shut the fuck up. You're going to see that shit from everybody. Now, that's the whole point here. Who the... I don't know. If it's state sanctioned, then is it just that as long as it's not Trump, they don't care if they lose an election in November? Whoever fills in to that vacuum, they sure let them rally the voters who would have voted for Trump behind somebody else because somebody else would be less of a threat. Is it just that? Is it just a loony who are if it's just a loony, then I don't see how the Secret Service can drop the ball so bad. I don't see it. And we have seen. I mean, we've referenced JFK a couple of times tonight already. If anybody has watched any of that footage of Secret Service told to kind of just shed away, back off, and leave the car exposed, hands waving in the air. What do you mean? What do you mean call off the door? What do you mean stand down? What the hell did we just watch today? Let's take some calls. 530, you're on the air. Barbara?
Yes, it's Barbara. Thank you for taking my call.
Go ahead.
Just an observation I made. It's probably nothing. But way back when, during the Q days, what was the name of that fellow that had the hat and the long hair and the mustache?
Oh, the Vincent Fusco guy.
Him.
Yeah.
He was in the audience, and
yeah, he's right there.
He just acted really strange. He was there. He looked to his right, then he looked to his left. And he kind of looked down and brushed his tummy or something. And right when he did that is when the shots fired. Everybody ducked but him. He just stood there, motionless. And I just found it very odd.
Okay, well, hold on here. I have him right on screen right now. Let me go take a look at him, Barbara. Let's see what Barbara's talking about. You guys let me know what you think. So he's right there. He's right there. You can notice him because he's got like a patented look and stuff. He is not going to... So let's see, like, here's the shot. Here's the shot right before, and here he is. It's right there. He's looking right, looking left.
if you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
I mean, he looks a little aloof. He looks aloof, but if you're saying that he's some kind of a signal man, or I don't think you need that. I think the mission is pretty clear. If you got a shot, take it. I don't know. He kind of looks just like I've seen attention called him. That was the guy that everybody said was JFK Jr. all grown up and has assumed a new identity and all that shit. But I just don't. I don't know. Here he is at the end. This is with a dead person. This is with dead people in the crowd at this point. Obviously, Trump doesn't know. He's in shock. His fight or flight is completely engaged. But there's dead people out there now, and nobody in the audience knows that. Nobody knows. Here's another one. Emergency room doctor spoke with, tried to save someone's life in the crowd. I guess we don't have to hear that. It's just too. We know what happens. This is a 2-minute address from the corpse.
Thoroughly briefed by all the agencies in the federal government as to the situation, based on what we know now. I have tried to get a hold of Donald. He's with his doctors. Apparently he's doing well. I plan on talking to them shortly, I hope.
Why would you talk to somebody who is a Hitler? You know? Stop the fucking games. Want to play games. Everybody wants to play games. The game is disgusting to me. And I understand that there's the WWE aspect, and I know we go deep some nights. But is there any thought about days like today where you have to come up and you say, well, I called Hitler before, and just to see how he was doing, I wanted to make sure everything's fine, and I'll be talking to Hitler again later on. Like, do you understand how ridiculous you look when you have to dial it back when life or death actually starts becoming a thing because the stupid fucking mongrels that you are inspiring? If that's even it. Obviously, we've been waiting for all stops to be pulled out, and it's so fresh. We're just swinging in the dark right now. But still, to hear just to hear these addresses, to hear this dialed back presentation, when all we get is the exact polar opposite.
I get back to the telephone. Look, there's no place in America for this kind of violence. It's sick. It's sick. It's one of the reasons why we have to unite this country. We cannot allow for this to be happening. We cannot be like this. We cannot condone this. And I want to thank the Secret Service and all the agencies, including the state agencies.
For what?
Have been engaged in making sure that the people and we have more detail to come relative to other people maybe injured in the audience. I don't have all that detail. We'll make that available to you. I may be able to come back a little later tonight, but we'll put out a statement if I'm not able to get.
Yeah. All of your Tumblr interns will put out a statement later on tonight when you've been put to bed and you're sucking on your binky. Right. I'm sorry. I don't have a. I'm not feeling diplomatic today. Not feeling it. You know what really pissed me off? And it's one of those things where I separate this from Aurora. There's going to be a lot of talks in the future, God willing, about the way the world is, about where we are right now, about liberty and tyranny, all of those things. I'm going to really leave politics out of it and just talk philosophy and talk human nature. That's what I want to do with Aurora. I don't want to turn her into a party girl, one party or the other, and you just wave your flag and whatever. But because I was getting these updates in the car, Jay had texted me, my mother had texted me, so I had to call Jay because I just couldn't dictate text the whole time I was driving. So I called up Jay I said, hey, Jay, you're on the speakerphone with Lauren and Aurora and me. I just wanted to see what the hell's going on. What'd you see? And he didn't go into gruesome detail. He didn't say it. He just said the bare minimum. But it was enough that Aurora put two and two together that someone shot Donald Trump. And she was fixated on it the whole time, and kind of, diverting that, trying to just bring up new things and say he's okay, everything's all right, and whatever. And then she starts asking, Mommy, what would you do if somebody tried to shoot you? Then, Daddy, what would you do if someone tried to shoot you? And I'm like, motherfucker. I'm like, so you just change the song. Say, well, we can talk about that later on, but it's nothing you have to worry about. And this is a reality that was completely created for us because it's just not good enough for people to go out there and persuade others to vote for them because they have nothing to offer, because they are actually in it to destroy and transform a country against the best interests of the people who live there and against the best interests of the people who are voting. It's all deception. It's all malignant. It's all malicious. And this was created for us for generations now, and the chickens are coming home to roost. Coming home to roost. So much. Let's see. What's something? Let's just take some calls now. 770, you're on the air. Go ahead.
What's going on, Frank?
Hey, who's this?
Hey, this is Matt.
Hey, Matt.
Another Matt.
Go ahead.
Hey, this whole shit makes me sick, man.
It's sickening, yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's really sick, man. But hey, Trump probably got his street cred, amplified a little bit. At this point, I mean, he's a convicted felon. At this point, he's been shot, So,
well, I had said it. I had said it before on Twitter. Because of course that this picture has gotten around. I'm sure everybody has seen this picture now. And I had said I retweeted it and I put my own little caption, my own little thought on there too. And I said, we thought that the mugshot was going to be the defining image of the election. Well, silly us.
No.
Look at this. What the hell, man? I mean, he's going to have to start going around in the Pope mobile. They're going to have to put him in a glass box.
That's what I was thinking myself,
It just doesn't.
Like the Pope, man.
Anyway, I know. Well, thanks for the call, Matt. It's good to hear from you.
Pure madness, man. Love your show, Frank.
All right. I'll talk to you soon. I'll be right back here on Monday night. All right. Let's take another call. D. Swifty, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, Francis. How are you doing?
It's good to hear from you again.
Yeah, it's been a long time, buddy. I just wanted to say it's been almost 9 years now. They've been trying to take this motherfucker out. And if anybody is surprised that this happened, and if anybody is aloof to the fact that this was not a government hit, their head is up their ass so far that they can probably see their eyeballs from behind.
Oh, one way or another, that it doesn't matter what the situation was. That gunman was never going to get out alive. There was never going to be a debriefing. There was never going to be nothing like that. That was it. That was a disposable person that was on that.
You can guarantee that his entire social media, every aspect of this, whoever this person was, is going to be erased, and we'll never hear a word about it because it was an attempted hit. And it was done by the deep state because they have no other options. They tried, dude. The second the debate went down, the second the press conference went down, when they identified the fact that this is a degenerating human being that they are trying to run to defeat Donald Trump. For the past 8.5 years, they've been trying to shut Trump down. They can't do it. And now that the whole world can see that Joe Biden is a complete fucking retard, what do they have to lose? They took a shot and they missed. You don't swing at the king unless you hit square in the chest, and they missed.
Yeah.
This is going to open a whole can of worms, brother. I love your show. God bless you.
Well, it's great to hear from you again, Swifty. It's been a long time, but I love when you call in, and thank you. Yeah, can of worms. It's open. Jay Britt sent a super chat to quite frankly superchat.com, said, Frank, on a video I saw where they are picking up and carrying the killed attendee from the stands, I swear I saw Terrence K. Williams standing attending to him. He was wearing a white dress shirt. Oh, terrible. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Terrence Williams was in attendance. But, I mean, I guess you're going to have to look out. That's a life changer right there. I've never had to attend to a recently shot dead person. But that's a... If that was him, I guess we'll know. Everybody out there, though, that's a life changer. Anybody there, especially if you were in the area where somebody went down. Shotzi says, thank you for going live tonight. You're appreciated. Well, hey, you guys are here with and for me, just as the other way around. DePompe says, I'm thinking MK Ultra. Joe sent out the signal bullseye. I saw that. We have to put Trump in a bullseye. But you know what? We play that game, then the Gabby Gifford thing in Arizona is suddenly legitimized, which is ridiculous. I mean, if you want to say that Joe Biden saying bullseye, having that leaked out, some kind of a team meeting or whatever, being the trigger word, I mean, that's all it took after the last 8 years. But you never know. There's not out of the realm of possibility I wouldn't dismiss MK Ultra altogether. All right, what else do we have over here? On Rumble, Books and Coffee says, Dan Bongino has stated several times the woman in charge of the Secret Service is a rank partisan and needs to step down. She is not doing the job. In charge of the but how does that trickle down to the team that is assigned to Donald Trump? Again, I haven't listened to Dan Bongino in a couple of years, but I may have to listen to him on Monday. Northern Pike says, Psalms 91, 10 through 11. Trump, Matthew, chapter 4, 5 through 7. So, some Bible verses for you. Joe's guy missed the shot, says Wild G. All right. Let's take some more calls. 914-200-0269. I'll stay here for another 20 minutes or so. Especially if you have any new bits of information you want to put out, theories, anything that you've looked at this at, go ahead. Or you just want to vent, go ahead. 516, you're on the air. Sounds like a local.
Hey, Frank, it's Bruce Wayne.
What's going on, Bruce?
AKA the Batman.
Good to have you. So Bruce is calling from Long Island. Go ahead.
Yeah. I was watching it and devastated to see it happen. The British BBC guy that you showed earlier, I've seen that also. Why couldn't anybody get to him sooner? I mean, they were pointing him out, and nobody paid attention to that. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that was the only takeaway from that BBC interview that Frank Zell urged us all to watch. That's the only takeaway. You have a guy that is calling attention to a serious threat to anybody over there. Obviously, he ended up being more of a threat to the people around Trump than Trump himself, even though Trump was only a couple of inches away from being a dead man. So the real question is, why is anything like that ignored, especially when the visual you can just confirm he's right there. So, yeah.
Yeah. All right. I appreciate you covering this. I appreciate you going live tonight. My phone has been blowing up like mad because everybody knows I'm diehard Trumpster, and it's been. I mean, the two biggest trending verbiage right now on Google and Twitter is Trump shot and staged ? So I don't know, man. That makes me a little nervous.
Well,
that's trending.
I'm sure that. Thank you for the call, Bruce. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people. There's going to be quite a few people who are going to attest to the fact that the dead bodies that were taken out of the rally were dead, and if you think it's staged, in what way? I mean, there's a way that this whole thing could be staged. You know, what we're talking about with the BBC actually counts as part of the staging. You have a situation there where it becomes a shooting gallery. There is one avenue that is wide open that nobody is paying attention to, even when attention is being called to it. That could be part of the staging. But I'm sure that there's going to be a lot of people out there talking about fake bullets and fake blood and whatever, as if Donald Trump needed a bump in the polls, as if he needed a bump. Like and that he would commit to this kind of a stunt for that kind of a bump in the poll. I'm sure that there's somebody out there that's going to lay it all out, and a bunch of people who believe that Elvis is still alive, and Alicia Keys and this and that, and I don't know, all the celebrities that are dead or alive. I'm sure that they're going to believe it. You know, and this is not even to talk about really speculating as to who's behind what, how far back it's a go. Was it an order given? Was it an order triggered? Because, of course, like I talk about with any kind of a shooting in a school right now, it's not even really about having to, go into Project Orion territory and talking about SSRIs and trigger words and Manchurian candidates. It's just a matter of we have broken families, we have broken homes, we have tons of kids that are medicated, we have a sick culture, we have law enforcement that doesn't take credible threats seriously. These are the supposed common sense gun control things everybody talks about. Watch somebody give this about a week before they start talking about gun control, as if anything about, please. And all you really have to do is wait for something crazy to happen. All you have to do is wait for something crazy to happen. And then defend, and then make a decision as to how you're going to report on it. This is from Sean Joe on Pill.net. John Brennan was on MSNBC this morning saying that Trump was a threat to his and others' freedom. I didn't see the MSNBC bit, but that line of thinking has been articulated in thousands of ways, far more extreme ways than that, over the last 8 years. I mean, when you say that to people, when the former CIA chief and everybody else behind him, all the intelligence officials that are willing to literally lay down on the train tracks for the uniparty and the bureaucracy, real sick company men type, when they're willing to go out there and tell people over and over again that one man, his followers, what he stands for, even though it's really a progressive platform, it's just not as suicidal as everybody else's. That one man is a threat to your freedom, my freedom, our lives, especially when it comes down to the special interest groups. Are you black? Are you gay? Are you this and you're going to be exterminated, put into camp. They're telling you that. You have people like Rachel Maddow and that freak Joy Reid who actually, narcissistically put it all on them that they're going to be on a short list of people who need to go to camps. Meanwhile, they're market testing the idea of re-education. They love constricting people, coercing people, the idea of re-educating people, forcing them to make denouncements in courtrooms with the J6 stuff. Real dehumanizing shit. That's what they're all about, constantly. You're telling me that that's not enough? That kind of messaging is not enough for somebody who has really nothing to live for to take a shot at being remembered for something? Saving freedom? Isn't that big? That sounds like a pretty big thing that you could be remembered for. Saving freedom. Sean Joe, thank you. Frank at Kim in Iowa has footage of sniper taking out the shooter. You can look at it. I'm sure it'll pop up on one feed or another, but I don't need to broadcast it here tonight. Trump fine after assassination attempt. Raises fists. Fight, fight, fight. Photos. Let me get my shoes. The shooter is dead. Was on the roof. Nation praise. Biden, we cannot be like this. Go fuck yourself. Pop, pop, pop. Then Trump rushed from election rally. Much bleeding. Video interview with witness. Secret Service blew shooter's head off after blowing their job. Let's see here. Scoop. Secret Service given to news reports telling them to play down Trump's attempted assassination. Wait, what? This is from DC Drano. I don't know what this is. Let me see. This is 2 hours ago. I haven't seen it. Here's what right now. Scoop. Secret Service given instructions given to news reporters telling them to play down Trump's attempted assassination. These people are evil. Here it is. Trump rally story. Hello. Reminder to stick to the facts. Don't speculate, editorialize, sensationalize, or jump to conclusions. When reporting on the Trump rally incident today, don't call the assassination. Don't call it an assassination attempt unless authorities say it is. Don't say a shooting targeting Trump or the rally unless authorities confirm that connection. Clarify, are they not an authority? Let's see. These are for news reporters from the Secret Service? No, they're not for Secret Service. Secret instructions. But who gave them this? Where did the instructions come from? Given to news reporter. Let's see. Don't clarify if it's actually gunshots. That's unclear at the moment. So this is hours ago. Anchor is reminded to be mindful of body language when presenting the story. No need for serious face or adding comments and adjectives for color. No need to say scary moments today at Trump rally. Just get to the story. Can you imagine if they just got to the story any other day of the week? At this moment, no need for guests to comment. Again, this is all a reminder. I know we all know. Oh, well, I don't know. That doesn't see. I don't know who the hell, who gave that to who. Obviously, you don't want to call anything until you know what it was. Here's from Donald Trump. I want to thank the United States Secret Service and all the law enforcement for their rapid response in the shooting that took place in Butler, Pennsylvania. Most importantly, I want to extend my condolences to the family of the person at the rally who was killed and also to the family of another person that was badly injured. It is incredible that such an act can take place in our country. Nothing is known at this time about the shooter who is now dead. I was shot with a bullet that pierced the upper part of my right ear. I knew immediately that something was wrong in that I heard a whizzing sound, shots, and immediately felt that bullet ripping through the skin. Much bleeding took place, so I realized then what was happening. God bless America. So Secret Service at least got to thank you at that point. But there's got to be a little bit of an inner circle meeting about what the hell's going on in the next couple of weeks. Next couple of hours. 219, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, Frank, you know what scares the hell out of me?
What?
Those high-performance drones that you showed last week going through the obstacle courses. If the Secret Service is so damn lackadaisical to an archaic weapon like rifle, and now we got these 200-mile-an-hour drones that are pinpoint accurate through those obstacle courses. I don't care if it's carrying anything or not. You know, I hesitate to put this into the universe, but shit, dude, if the Secret Service missed a shooter, how are they going to pick off these damn things?
Well, I mean, my first thought would be, on a technological level, a drone has got to have some sort of a traceable link to a controller. And
that is true.
And here we have a flesh and blood shooter that has now been erased from the earth, that can no longer talk to anybody. I don't know. I think that
a drone operator could be just as disposable as a shooter. I mean, yeah, it's got
right.
a linked thing, but he's just as disposable. I mean, I'm not trying to. It's
true. No, you're right.
Why he's open air? Why is he doing these open air rallies? It just drives me nuts.
Well,
so anyway,
yeah, you know, you make a good point, because as much as, let's say, that the Secret Service actually did a good job in getting the perimeter secured and making sure that every vantage point that could be a problem was taken account of, then there is always that situation where is there any kind of aerial support? Are there drones that are already up there that are there to intercept other? Because we're in that age. You're right. We're in that age where somebody can send a drone to do one thing or another. I mean, we've seen those grenade drone footage from overseas. It's some serious shit. Running people down, doing, just blowing up in their faces. But, to think about, don't do it in the open air anymore. What else are we going to give away? Whether it's Donald Trump or anybody else, this is another thing that you just have to say, okay, is this the path that we are walking again? Is this the path that we're walking? Is this what is going to be laid out in front of us? Is this what people, whoever they are, whatever their affiliations are, where they meet at night, which docks they meet at night, on which docks they meet, if that's what's going to be the case, how much more are we giving away? We already gave away so much with the lockdowns that we haven't gotten back. A lot of cultural norms have never gone back to the way they were completely. After January 6, 2021, it took a long time for people to ever want to go out and express a political opinion again. After that, that's when they started really ramping up the FBI and people paying attention to who's showing up to local PTA meetings and everything. How much you giving up? No more outside rallies. There might be a sniper there. No, get better security and fuck this. Because eventually we're going to have to be able to go outside again. So I would not, and I think that Donald Trump knows that too. Anybody in Donald Trump's position would be like, no, we're not changing our, yeah, sure, we'll fill out an arena wherever there's an arena to be filled. But I'm not going to avoid airfields and rallies outside because that's weakness. Then how much more are we going to give away? How much more are we going to mollify the murderers? The people who don't care about anything worth fighting for. All right, so let's see here. A couple more. 785, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Are we going to...
Hello?
Hey, this is Sentinel. How are you doing?
Go ahead, Sentinel.
Yeah, sorry. I thought I hit mute. Okay, there it is. Okay. First of all, I'd like to thank the Lord God Almighty and the Holy Trinity that President Trump survived today. That was amazing. We had the rally on, and we were hearing him talking about the border, and all of a sudden, pop, 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 and I was distracted a little bit. And I look up, and Donald Trump grabs his ear, and he goes down. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Somebody's trying to kill President Trump. And Molly's over here. She's like, what happened? And they're like, they tried to shoot President Trump. And like, we're just totally amazed. And we're like dazed. And like, we're like texting family and like, pray for President Trump. Pray for President Trump. They tried to kill him today, just now. And we got back and forth with mom and son and cousins and aunts and uncles. And we were just so happy that he's going to survive this ordeal. And then, trying to find out what actually happened. And then we see all these different things happen. And then I look at Marliari, and I say, hey, why, how could this not have happened earlier? And then how could it be that we get to this point in time, right after Biden says, put the President Trump in the target zone, somebody takes a pot shot at him. And I'm like, this is just crazy shit going on. Crazy. And we're both mad. And then we're just so happy that he got up and he stuck his fist out and he told us all to fight. And that's what we're going to continue to do. I got my neighbors down the street with vote Democrat to save democracy. And I'm like, I'm so tempted to ask them, just stand out in front of the yard and say, okay, is this what you want to do? You're going to talk about vote Democrat, save democracy, when you're not even sure you've got a candidate for president, and you're going to let the elite pick who the fuck you want to vote for, and then you're going to shoot at my guy. Fuck you. That's what I say. So anyway, thanks a lot, Frank. Great show, and thanks for taking my call.
Well, thank you for calling in. What I would, and of course, this is very emotional. emotions flying high, trying to figure things out, even just the adrenaline, even if you're not really attached to any of the candidates or really immersed in what's what for the election. There's a lot of adrenaline in just trying to get a handle on what's going on and how we're being played now, because this is all a play. This is all a play. It's a move against us. That's it. But you also have to just remember that not every Democrat voter wants to see Donald Trump killed. You know, not everyone does. But again, there's the whole thing. So many people have taken gotten the green light to act in such a bombastic way about democracy at stake and all these things, and the person who stands as the central figure of this attack on our country and our history and the people and this and that. It's hatred, it's xenophobia, it's bigotry, it's the Handmaid's Tale. They want to put women into hyperbaric chambers and have them breeding constantly against their will. When average people, they have to know this is the mainstream message of your party now, of that entire way of thinking. And the leadership of those parties, of the organizations, whatever the hell it is, this is the rhetoric. It's the mainstream rhetoric. And of course, it comes back today to somebody like Joe Biden going out there and saying, this is sick. This can't happen. I just called him Donald. Just talked to Donald before. I'm going to talk to him again later. He's okay. He's with his doctors, and I'm going to talk to him later on. Like if you are any of the little peons, the little middle class to lower middle class peons that go and carry water for these freaks, and you hear that after you've adopted all of their extremist language, do you ever I just wonder if anybody out there has a moment that goes, are you going to at least stay consistent and say, damn it, I was hoping he would have gotten shot dead? Or are you going to suddenly start acting like this is not what America is all about? Are you going to be that fucking hypocrite? Because if you're going to be that fucking hypocrite, then tell me why the act all the other 364 days of the year. Where does that lead us? This is not America. You don't even want to talk to anybody. It's all about the whole idea of American politics in the 21st century is about dehumanizing the other side. Why would you ever talk to them about one issue or another if the other person is less than human? You know? And then all of a sudden something like this happens for one reason or another. Okay? There's plenty of strings to be pulled, and there's plenty of motivations for those strings to be pulled. And we start getting this. Now, I know that the crazies on Reddit, I know that there's going to be plenty of people, and I've already seen a few, saying, damn, a couple of people like Kathy Hochul out there, my hand-me-down governor with the beaver teeth. The hand-me-down governor, she did her little, I hope that the former president is okay, and this is not right and shit. And there was one or two people in that comment section that said, what are you getting soft or something? He deserved it and shit like that. Now, could it be a troll? Could it be a bot? Absolutely. There's plenty of non-human entities on the internet, in the comment sections, on Twitter, everywhere else. Of course there is. But you know that there are people out there who are at least staying consistent on Reddit. I'm sure my friends at Libs of Reddit are finding all types of people who are upset that the bullet didn't go right through his skull and only grazed his ear instead. But for everybody else who talks so silly throughout the year about how Project 2025, as lame as it looks, you know, compared to what if you told me that Project 2025 is one phase out of 7 to finally get us back to constitutional order, I'd say, okay, Well, that's a lofty idea, and I give you credit for trying to do something with your time and your resources. But for them to take Project 2025 and sick all of their Yale people and all their Harvard people on it and talk about why this is literally going to result in the deaths of millions of people. And then, of course, 2 days later, this happens. Now everybody has to calm down. Or do you keep, because you look stupid if you go pedal to the metal even now. Now you look like the animal that you pretend that you don't know that you are, I should say. The other days of the week. Nutty. One or two more calls. From New York, New York. Go ahead.
Frank, it's Larry in Brooklyn. How you doing, man?
Hey, Larry. Good to have you on.
Hey, man. I'll be quick. Did anyone get the heebie-jeebies on this, like the same heebie-jeebies that we got from like March 2020 or that thing from early 2001 in September? Anyone out there that's like listening, like I'd like to know, because like I felt all the things today, the same things that I felt in March 2020, and in retrospect, what I learned that I had felt in September, you know what, from way back in the day. I mean, did you feel that today?
Driving home, there was something stirring inside of me. In early September of 2001.
I'm saying post. I'm saying post, like watching how the media unfolds, and then the giant photo op. I'm not pro or anti-Trump. I don't do blue team or red team, but like looking at the way that it unfolded and like seeing like the flag at Iwo Jima, and then that shot that Trump got out of that thing, I can't look away from it. You know, I'm just like, what? That shot just won him the presidency, just because I've seen this so many times. And did you see the shot? Like the main ones that they got of him with the blood on his face and his fist in the air?
Well, his fist is in the air, yeah. That's what I said. I said, this is the shot that trumped the shot. That trumped what I believed and what many people believed was going to be the defining image of the campaign, which was going to be the mugshot. The fact that there was the fact that there is this that is 5 times a more powerful sigil, and it became a sigil instantly just because of the nature of social media in itself. I mean, listen, there's all types of magic being conjured right now, white and black, and
it feels that way, doesn't it? It feels like, because if they wanted him dead, he would have been dead years ago. I mean, they have the capacity and the operators to take care of him if they wanted to, and that's the curious thing for me. It's like, okay, so did MK Ultra malfunction? Is that what happened? Or did he really just miss? And did they just fuck up? That's where I'm at. I'm like, really, you know, there's snipers that can hit these guys from a mile away. Here he is on a rooftop, missing it. I'm just like, this is bizarre, dude.
Yeah, well,
I mean, it's entertainment at its greatest level, I guess.
Again, it's not entertaining for the family that lost somebody. Because there's death, there's serious injury today as well, and then of course there is this grazing shot of Donald Trump, and of course because of his stature, that is going to be center focus, and everything else behind all the destruction that happened around him is actually going to be it's going to almost like take a back seat in many ways. But I mean,
you say that it's fair to say that the shoe has dropped now, and now we are in it. I mean, if we're in it,
dude, I think we have definitely been in it. But today we crossed a threshold. This is a major. It's because again, rhetoric has gone all over the place, from the continuity of government talks about what would happen if Donald Trump got assassinated, who would take over now. I mean, they've been doing the continuity of government articles for years now. And then, and then there is, I mean, the conversations and the intimations, they have been sprinkled out there for a long, long time. But they are
we knew it was coming. Everybody knew something was coming.
Exactly.
And it was almost like, did we manifest it? Like we all knew some shit was going to go down.
I don't think
everyone's talking about him getting shot. They've been talking about him getting assassinated for a year, and then there's this assassination attempt. And you're like, what?
Well, I don't think
they really actually tried this thing.
This as a manifestation, I don't know. And I'll tell. And here's why I say this. And thank you for the call. I'm gonna get a couple more people on before I leave. You remember we were talking about how there was a tweet I had read about the left and the right and the difference in perspective and why the left really has a hard time understanding and connecting with reality. Because whereas people who are on, and I'm not talking about party, I'm just talking about people who are inside of that myopic progressive paradigm, and anybody outside of that who is just wanting to strip away everything, to take away all the confinement of narrative and all that, and really try to liberate minds and restore liberty and all that shit. It's not even about party. When you see something is up, we go and listen to the people that we feel direct opposition to. Okay, we listen to Joe. We watch Joe Biden all along the way. We see all the falls. We watch. We assess the slurring, all that shit. So when that debate happens, and liberals see it for the first time, and they've been shielded from it, I mean that's a huge moment for them. Whereas we've been sitting there, we knew. I mean, this has been just common knowledge for years. Joe Biden as an individual, though he's not a significant man in the game, he has been given a significant position as a figurehead, as a piece on the board right now before the board is eventually cleared and reset time and time again, as it always is. But that is this is a guy who is completely infirmed. He's fucked cognitively, everything else. Now, that's the first time that they see it, and they all freak out. The last couple of weeks, it's been freaking out. The freak out you've been seeing is from people who realize that they have been duped and they haven't been shown the truth. And suddenly the green curtain is slid back, and you see that the Wizard of Oz has dementia. So, I mean, that's just what it is. So when it comes to Donald Trump and all of us, we see many of us, even those of you who don't even care about Trump, have said, all right, well, if I'm going to play the game to understand the game and try to plot where this is all going, because wherever this game goes, I'm going to be dragged as well. Many of us didn't play the COVID game. We didn't listen to all of the hyperbole and all of the fear factor stuff about how many masks you should put on, but we were still dragged along with society. You know, many of us came to the realization that there was something else going on with 9/11 than the official story. It doesn't mean that when we go to the airport every time, we can say, no thanks, TSA. No, we have to make some concessions. We get dragged along by the herd. We do. It affects us, even if our minds are not there. This is the same thing with Donald Trump. We see that there was rhetoric that was going to a certain way, and it was going to be used either to inspire somebody or to create some sort of a I don't know. That's just what it is. Now, how people can't see that it was going to go there is beyond me. When they're the ones that's not even something that the media can hide. That's something that everybody on the left is encouraged to repeat these lines time and time again. Do people ever actually really listen to what's coming out of their mouth? How extreme the accusations are? That if the things that you're saying about Donald Trump is true, then you must take him out. You must. Just like when Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez said that climate change is our generation's World War II. Well, if that's the case, then we need to invade China, we need to invade India, and we have to take over certain parts of Africa, all the places that are polluting the world, that are polluting the oceans with plastic and burning coal to 20 times the degree that we're doing over here. It's like you understand that if you say something, there has to be. Do you know what that means? So, I mean, there's going to be so much that we learn from now until Monday when we get together again at 7 o'clock. And,
now I'm just going to tell you motherfucking niggas straight out the dump. Don't fuck with my motherfucking president. Do you understand me? Nigga, we ride with Donald Trump over here, nigga. Draco, we ain't playing with you motherfucking niggas. You understand me? Keep my motherfucking president name out your mouth. Fuck, nigga.
I haven't seen that video in a while. Oh, man. Let's see. Ruben says, my ex-wife works at the Academy Sports in Clarksville, Tennessee. Bullet sales have jumped after the shooting. Thanks for coming on, by the way. Thank you, Ruben, and thank you for that. Here's another one from Ruben. Says, Trump doesn't get full Secret Service protection till he gets the nomination. Yes, but he's a former president. All former presidents. Right now, Jimmy Carter has Secret Service around his deathbed. Is that force diminished? I don't know. Can we give Matt a live call? I don't know. Matt hasn't. What did Matt say before? Matt said this before. Wait. Hold on a second. Let's see here. Matt said, okay, at 6:38, Matt texted us. He said, Trump got hit in the ear that they're saying. I said, yeah. He immediately responded and said, he needs me to be a human shield for him now more than ever. So, yeah, Matt says he's willing to be a human shield from now on. So if Donald Trump, anybody in the Trump camp is listening, there is one guy over here that will stand in front. All right. Valsky says, divine intervention. We are in uncharted territory physically and spiritually. Divine intervention. I don't know where I go into that. I think there's a lot of factors that play. You know, you say, well, a professional would have never missed that shot. Yeah, I know. A Marine sniper would not miss that shot. But who the hell are we dealing with here? And it's not like they didn't hit his head. Just got his ear off by a couple of inches. And but I mean, there's some gruesome pictures of this the supposed person who was on top of the roof and shot. I mean, you're going to see some gruesome photos out there getting shared around. Who took those? Who had access to the body and got it out for the public to see so quickly? You would think that would not be the case. It's one thing to be standing far back enough so that you can actually see the top of the roof a little bit and you can see a body slumped over from a point. Like I saw those initial pictures that came out. You can see a little bit of blood. You can see a shoulder and all that stuff. But, I mean, there's some gruesome pictures that are already out there. And I just wonder who the hell gets off making those public? Because that has to be official police response or either the anything that is paramilitary or Secret Service that's there. Where do those pictures come from? So that's strange too. There's enough gore on the internet. The last thing I need to do is see another dead body. That's all the internet is now. But what else is there? Just a couple more things because there'll be more to talk about later on. Thank you, Ruben. Thank you to the other people who sent in some super chats and asked questions on Rumble. You guys have been great. We have about 2,300 people watching on Rumble right now. I hope that you guys and gals tune in on Monday night to kick this all off again at 7 o'clock. You can even set your timers. Say, remind me, quite frankly, it starts at 7 o'clock Monday night. Let's take another call. Tony, go ahead, 603.
Hey, what's going on, Frank?
How you doing? Go ahead, real quick.
Excellent. I just want to say, like, you've touched on a bunch of this stuff already. It just doesn't seem to add up with me as far as the guy on the roof. Doesn't look like anything like the guy in the video that was supposedly ranting before all this happened.
Yep.
I don't know. I'm not trying to jump out on a limb at this point, but I mean, he's got just as many enemies in the State Department as he does in the Democratic Party. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Again, I don't want to jump to any conclusions. I know the left is trying to say it was a BB gun. I don't think that's the case, but I don't know. Just a crazy scenario, man. And I'm so happy you jumped on tonight. Definitely got a lot of value from that.
Well, thank you, Tony. Some people in leftist Media are saying that it was a BB gun that ripped through his ear from that distance like that.
Yeah, believe it or not. I mean, they're all crazy, anyways. But yeah, if you go on Twitter X right now, if you search BB gun, there's hundreds and hundreds of threads on it.
Well, and anything to reduce the severity of this, so people can get back to normal working hysterical order as possible, I guess. But thank you for the call, Tony. Hey, I just wanted to get on and talk to you guys and gals and see what the hell you were all thinking. It's 10:35. Maybe I'll take maybe one or two calls because the calls are flooding in. It may not be him. It's very disturbing and odd to me that a picture like that, so up close, gruesome, on the shooter would be just public. You're telling me that just civilians just started going up there? So the guy is shot dead by authorities, and the first people who got up to the top of the roof were just random people with Twitter accounts that wanted to get some exclusive gore on the internet? Or you're telling me that the cops took pictures of this guy and put it out there? The first person that they were showing me, that everybody was showing me on Twitter and that was just being passed around, was some pudgy Antifa guy named Violet, who had put out a video prior to the rally saying that justice was going to be served. Whoever the hell that guy was, if it was even the actual, it could have just been some bullshit. That guy was definitely not this other person that we see. Frank, it's definitely him, says AK in the Gilded chat. Okay. So then the other guy is, what was that? Just a false alarm? So, I don't know. Let's take a couple more calls real quick. 513, you're on the air. Go ahead real quick.
Hey, Frank. First-time caller. Love your show.
Great to have you on.
Not sure if you thanks. Not sure if you mentioned this or if you've seen this video, but there's a video I just saw circulate on Instagram of one of the snipers near Trump, and you can see him take the shot. And before that, you can hear the shooter take, his few shots. And it's just really strange. I don't know what you would think that by the time the shooter would be, I mean, he was in the line of sight of the Secret Service shooter and the sniper returning fire. And it's just totally strange that that he was allowed the time to, set up a good shot.
Yeah.
Granted he missed, but a clear shot on the president.
Yeah.
Or he was taken out after the shots, almost as if, he was given, they were told to stand down until the job is done, so to say. But anyway, that video is on, if you look up DC Drano on Instagram, you can find that video, and it may be out of context. It may be something else. It's just something to think about.
All right.
Something I found really strange.
Okay, well, I'll take a look at the DC Drano. I'll go check out that account and see whatever the hell's there. And thank you for the call. All right, let's go. Tim, you're on the air. 908.
Hey, Frank, how you doing tonight?
Doing well. What do you have on your mind?
Okay, real quick question. Did you watch were you watching it live when it happened?
No. I was leaving a graduation party, and we were just getting into the car, and that's when the text first came in from my mother. Said, I think Trump's just been shot. She was watching live.
Okay. All right. What's his name? Vincent Fusca? Is that his name?
Yeah.
With the fedora?
Yeah.
If you're looking at the screen when Trump is on, Vincent, he is up behind him to the left. There is a woman who is talking to Vincent down on the bottom right with a phone, taking videos. When the shots fired and Trump was hit, do you know that neither one of them flinched?
Yeah, we just watched that actually toward the beginning of this broadcast. Somebody else called in about it, and I replayed it and I watched him. And he does seem nonplussed. He does seem pretty aloof and not like he doesn't very, I don't know, nonchalant about the whole thing. But what is the working theory? Is this umbrella man? Is this somebody who's supposed to be there to mark or give a signal for the assassination? What's the working theory here aside from the fact that he did not react in a way that you'd expect him to?
Yeah, what did Q say? What makes a great movie? Great actors. So I don't know. I'm just thinking outside the box here, which I always do. Was this a ploy to really, really push Trump? Like a living martyr. Shall I put it that way? Because I was watching a channel on Pilled when this happened, Matrix, and I was just like, okay, let me jump on there. Today was my day off, and it was just odd. You know what I'm saying? There's like too many things like out of the norm, like the Secret Service, and even though I know like something like that because my wife works for the government, something like that. One of her teams would have swept the area before the Secret Service even got there.
Okay, well, then let me. Okay, well, okay. Well, let me think about this because then I'm just gonna put it out there. When you say that there is a new level of martyrdom that has been created here, it doesn't matter who the hell, what the hell's been tried. We've said this as just a way that, and thank you for the call. It's just been a part of the character profile for Donald Trump that he's anti-fragile. He's the only politician or anybody in the public sphere that I know of who can get COVID and have a bump in the polls, who can be impeached twice and have his poll numbers go up twice every time. There is it's crazy what can be thrown at this guy and not be destroyed, where somebody else would be chased out of office. So after the debate and after the fact that since the debate a couple of weeks ago, the Democrat Party is in a complete civil war, a financial civil war. There's obviously a lot of factions at play there. It doesn't really seem at this point that Joe Biden actually wants to leave. I think he's really, and the people behind him, like his wife and everybody else, are really advocating for him to stay. And it seems that people who usually have his back and usually a hand up his ass, like ventriloquist dummies, like the Obamas, they may even see that he is not worthy or he's not a worthy candidate anymore, that he can't be worked with anymore, and they're trying to jettison him. Then you have the Clinton. You have all these things. They're withholding money. There are so many things going wrong for Joe Biden right now that don't require Donald Trump to become a martyr for any reason whatsoever. So I don't understand why being willfully putting himself in a position to possibly get killed, unless you're saying that there was a blood packet and it's just something to blood and a prosthetic to make to have his ear be there and then his ear not be there, so that it can. And then what about the dead guy and the other person in intensive care right now? Is that part of the movie? That those people had to die so Donald Trump can get a bump in the polls? I don't. Just like when people are saying, this was back in, I forgot what the hell year it was, but there was a hurricane moving through Puerto Rico. It's just one of those hurricanes that really leveled Puerto Rico. And somebody was coming at me from a Q perspective or one other, I don't know which one it was, but they're saying that you're not seeing it the right way. There are deep state outposts here, all the small island chain in the Caribbean and also in Puerto Rico. And this is being, this storm is being steered. And it's like, listen, if you're telling me that all the lives that are being lost right now is worth it because a deep state outpost is being, please don't, you have to just think about that. Is that actually something you want? You want to know that our side, the good side, is willing to kill innocent people because it's part of the master plan? I don't want to be a part of that side. So that doesn't make too much sense to me, especially when he doesn't need the bump. He definitely doesn't need to sacrifice innocent lives or whoever is orchestrating the movie or whatever you said there. And I appreciate the theory, because then we can sharpen steel, and we can work this all out and see what makes better sense. But that doesn't. I don't know. Let's do one more call. Here we go. 914, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Oh, hey, Frank. How are you?
I'm doing well. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. My name is Danny. We spoke like a few years ago.
Yeah, well, it's good to hear from you.
I wanted to bring your attention. I don't know if you saw. Did you take a look at the guy on the top left of the stand, of the bleachers or whatever?
The top left of the bleachers behind Trump?
Yes. For whatever reason, on the videos that I've seen, he's huge. His head is huge. It reminds me of Spaceballs. I don't know if you could pull it up, but his shirt is huge. His head is huge, and he looks to his right where the shooter would be. He's taking video of it. But yeah, I thought it was peculiar just to see that.
Wait a second.
To our country,
hold on.
probably 20 million people. And
Let's see. Oh, okay. All right.
White shirt, black hat, humongous black hat.
White shirt, black hat. I'm trying. Oh, wait. In the top, the very top left?
Yep.
This guy up here?
Hold
on. This guy, you see my mouse pointer on the screen?
Wait, because it's choppy right now. But it's the guy at the farthest top left. And if you keep going, okay, now I see your pointer. If you keep going past the video where if you keep playing it, you'll see how it's just odd. Is he wearing like a gigantic hat?
It is a gigantic hat. It kind of looks like Dark Helmet. You're right. It does look like Dark Helmet from Spaceballs.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Funny.
Yeah, it's a gigantic hat. I don't know what the hell it is. It is weird.
Or what it could mean. I mean, I don't know. It is so very interesting. I definitely think something happened. I definitely think Trump seemed to be unexpected. But who knows?
Well, listen, Daniel, it's been great to have you on the show again. It's always cool to see a 914 area code pop up. So thank you for being on the one local that called in, aside from all of our friends in Brooklyn and Long Island.
You're welcome. Have a good night.
Talk to you soon. All right, last call of the night. You're on the air, caller.
Hey, Frank, it's Rev. How you doing?
What's going on, Rev? Go ahead. You have the floor for the last moment of the evening. Go ahead.
All right, woohoo. Well, look, I agree with you. You were just making the point about not wanting to be on the side of the team that says, hey, you have to break a few eggs to make an omelet. That's exactly, and I know you feel this way because you've expressed it before yourself. That's how we feel about this whole COVID jab bioweapon situation too. People will come along and say, oh, what do you want Trump to do? He was painted in a corner. It had to be this way. That sets me off so bad. And people in the chat know I'm a shade more Jewish than a lot of your average listeners, especially these days. But that notwithstanding, I cannot stand this narrative that goes, well, it has to be this way, and people have to be shown. And these terrible, every time this comes up, I go, what about the people whose lives are being destroyed in the process? This is not okay. It doesn't even matter if that is part of the plan and it's for good guys. Mm-hmm. I'm not cool with it.
No, I'm not cool. I'm not cool with it either. I'm well. Listen, I think that the thing is that the conclusion just doesn't satisfy me. Not that I believe that it's the case. I don't think anybody's being shown something that everybody, well, this is the only way to show people. No, it's not. Things are just getting bad. And people see things at the pace that they see it. We always have to keep in mind that those of us who pay attention to the types of topics that we talk about on shows like this every night are a very, very small fraction of the overall population of the world, let alone our own little corner of the world over here with our 330 million people. You know, I mean, there's no way that a third of the country thinks like us. There's no way that a third even of the country thinks like us. So, I mean, it just, most people are just, so I've been to a lot of graduation parties and family events over the last few weeks because it's the summertime. There's a lot of, younger people in our lives that are moving through, high school, going to college. And we're just seeing a lot of people that we don't normally do in the summer, even though there's barbecues and everything else that you get to sit down with the rabble, the people who are really just going to work every day and are just dealing with their family lives. They're paying their bills and everything else. And if you try to talk current events with them, I mean, man, they don't go too far beyond.
It's 100% true. You know where I was tonight before I just got home a few minutes ago? I was at a banquet for the end of the sporting year thing. And I kept walking around and kept hearing, and I did not engage in the conversation myself, but I kept hearing people say, I could hear the words Trump, shot, and I was scrolling, like either Gilded or Twitter or whatever I could get my hands on in between different moments when I was able to sit at my own table. But, somebody came up to me and they're like, oh, is Trump dead? So people are aware that something happened, but I mean, this is going on like 8, 9 o'clock at night. They still think that he might have been murdered and assassinated. It's like, you're right. People do not know. It's kind of like when you talk about this stuff in terms of, even the revolutionary period, where it's really only about 10% of the population that you can call significantly awake or aware.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's something that I always have to keep in mind is that, it really, that's just what's playing out here. I don't think there's a lot of, there's a lot less showing people than you think. I mean, we show each other things a lot. I think more and more people realize that this whole thing is not serving. The whole game is not serving anybody, and that is enough to motivate somebody to do something different that they may not have done in the past. Anyhow, like vote for somebody different. But even then, that's another rabbit hole. How far does voting go? When we talk about people who are willing to poison the minds and manipulate the algorithms and potentially shoot people dead, that are willing to lock down countries, that are willing to sabotage economies, that are willing to blow up pipelines, Nord Stream, that are willing to do this, every aspect of Ukraine and Russia. I mean, when you think about the resources that are deployed by people who are willing to deploy them to be able to run the world like their very own company, and we are not even shareholders, we're just fucking tax cattle. I mean, there's a lot there. There's a lot there to really consider, and hopefully people start going down that rabbit hole when they realize that there's less and less that the system could offer them, and that's the best that we can ask for. Because to try to drown anybody in the stuff that we talk about on a nightly basis is not going to make you any friends. It's not going to. So you just got to be. You just got to be you just got to chill. You got to just crack open the beer and have a conversation and stick with people on their level for a little bit, and maybe just give them a few inches below depth, and that's it. And then maybe next time they can handle a little bit more.
Yeah, because I experienced that going through the whole 9/11 thing, for sure.
Yeah.
And it just continues. So.
Well, thanks for the call, Rev.
All right, brother. Yep, I'll catch you later.
Have a good one. And everybody at home, it is almost 11 o'clock. We almost did 2 hours. Almost. Because I got here and we started around 9:13 or whatever the hell. And that's pretty crazy. Because I made the decision to come to the studio out of desperation around 8:56. And the fact that I got here and I was able to launch the show at like 9:10 or whatever the hell it was, That's crazy. I'm happy I didn't kill myself on the way over here. Anyway, thank you guys so much. I will talk to you on Monday. For those of you who are monthly sponsors, I will see you for the Sunday stream tomorrow morning. And a lot more coming your way. Oh, this also does mean that there may not be any Sunday night programming on quitefrankly.tv tomorrow night. Not unless I figure out what the hell's wrong with OBS. So, thanks for hanging out with me on a Saturday night on yet another day in the historic 2024. And pray for strength and for guidance, for clarity of mind, for those who were hurt today and those died. And yeah, I mean, we gotta just pray for each other because we're walking it. We're walking the road now, man. That is that. All right, enjoy the rest of your night. I will talk to you soon. Goodbye.